Hi guys, welcome back to my new video on special traits. So I'll be talking about what are special traits, and I'll be giving you three pieces of information about special traits which you have to remember, and also who to unlock, what to unlock for them, and why you should unlock for them. Okay, so this is the who, what, why guide. So without further ado, let us just check out what are special traits. So special traits can be found in the limit break tab in your characters window, basically here. So for special traits, to unlock a special trait slot, you need to use a FINA. Okay, and there are many special traits which you can choose from. So page 1 is just stats, increased stats. Page 2 deals with increased resistances, also a debuff cast rate. Page 3 deals with increasing damage, okay, dealt onto certain types of enemies, and page 4 is for decreasing damage received. Okay, so to unlock, basically you have to choose a FINA and then choose a trait and then press unlock, and this will come out. So you unlock it and then you try to level up the trait. And to level up a trait, I guess I have to unlock one now. No, I don't want to. So to actually unlock to actually level up a trait, you have to use something called Soul Essence and Rare Soul Essence. So these are the newer currencies in the game. So how do you get Soul Essence and Rare Soul Essence? It's actually by selling heroes. So you only get Rare Soul Essence if you sell special heroes. So let me take my spare ace for example. So if I were to sell this ace, I will get 1 million gold, 3,300 Soul Essence, okay, Soul Essence is the middle one, and 165 Rare Soul Essence. So if you were to see that I'm gonna just try to sell this B-Dump as well, so I only get a difference of 300 Soul Essence, no increase in Rare Soul Essence, okay? So only by selling special heroes will you get Rare Soul Essence, and only special heroes require Rare Soul Essence to increase their special trait level. So there are 3 things which I want you to remember about special traits. There is no fixed combination, okay, for special traits, and there's no fixed requirement for it, okay, because they're always constantly changing. So I'm only giving my Amelia stun resist and paralyze resist because of the current meta, because there's a Teo and there's Lu Bu, okay, involved in arena. So I'm giving her these 2 resistances primarily. Of course you can add more resistances. So in the future, if these 2 are no longer relevant in the meta, you can actually change them by paying 20 topaz for a confirmed change to the desired trait that you want, or a random change. Of course, the random change I don't think is very worth it, because as you know, there are so many other traits out there, so the chance of getting the one you want is very low, okay? So yeah, there's no fixed combination and no fixed requirement. So the next thing about special traits is it does not make a hero usable, okay? It only makes a hero stronger. So I'm gonna use Spina for example. So Spina has 3 very important traits which you need to have, okay? Increase critical damage, increase lethal damage. These 2 are must, because she's the DPS, okay? And as the last one is determined by actually for who you're fighting in Guild Dungeon, because I use her in Guild Dungeon. So I mean, if I don't have these special traits, it does not mean that I shouldn't use Spina, correct? Spina has to be used, because who else will you use? But these traits actually enhance her damage output, which makes her a far better DPS than if she was just normally upgraded. with just purely weapons, okay? So it does not make a hero usable, it only makes a hero stronger to be used. You get the difference? Okay. And lastly, special traits help to relieve the pressure from not being able to get certain jewels or accessories. What do I mean by that? So you know, in World Boss you need a lot of resistant jewels, resistant accessories. So in the current one, it will be Dark Crown Prince, and you need the burn resist. Okay. So in the event that you don't have the burn resist, you can actually give Ares very conveniently with just one Fina a burn resist trait, which is over here. Right, you can actually just give her this and boost it up to 90%, which is even greater than the accessory itself. Accessory only gives you 60% resistance. So it actually takes off that pressure that you have to have the certain accessory in order to be able to do well in World Boss or whatever mode you're looking at. Okay, so these are the 3 things that you need to remember, so don't feel that, you know, special traits are so crucial to your game. They do help, but if you don't have it, it doesn't make your progress totally, or it doesn't make you like a very bad player, okay? So the next thing that I'm sure all of you are wondering is who you should unlock and what you should unlock for them. So I will start with PvP because I think that's the most straightforward. So currently in PvP you have heroes like Battery, Colt, Lubu, and Teo. I will just briefly show you guys what I have on them. So for Battery, it's 3 resistances, 3 main resistances, okay? Stun resist, paralyze resist, and death resist. I think on my... So you saw Amelia just now. For Colt. For Colt, I have paralyze resist and stun resist. For Teo, I have stun, paralyze, death resist. Okay, so it's all resistances. And for Lubu, I have... Lubu is slightly different from mine because I'm using his passive 50% debuff resistance increase already to, you know, try to gamble with that along with a debuff resist jewel. So I'm giving him other stuff. Okay, so basically what my point is, for speed teams you probably will want to go with debuff resistance because even for speed teams now, matches last a lot longer. Heroes are starting to do a lot more status like poison, like paralyze, like stun, and usually it's statuses like paralyze and stun that really change your game, right? Because they immobilize your hero. So these are really the traits that you want to give your hero for speed teams. So there's also the debuff and death team, okay, so which makes use of Chris. I think Chris is one of the very key heroes in the debuff or death team. So basically for Chris, of course you want to give him the increased debuff cast rate, right? And you also want to give him... What will you give him? Maybe decrease damage received from certain heroes? Okay, or how about even increase death resist for himself so that he won't get deathed easily? Okay, so yeah, all these you have to actually base it on your team, what your team strategy. So if you have a debuff team, then of course you want to give all your heroes increased debuff casting rate. And if you have a tank team, for example, then of course you want to try to increase your defenses against, you know, offensive heroes, or try to increase your maybe block rate, and so on and so forth, right? And of course, if you are tank team, you also don't want to, you know, die by death. I mean, that would totally make your defenses useless. So maybe you also want to give them debuff resistance, death resistance. So yeah, all these you have to take into consideration when you're building your PvP team. There's no fixed trait that you have to give. So what I would recommend for speed teams, okay, speed teams, that's it called. So what I would say not to put is actually these increased damage dealt. Okay, why do I say that? If you look at the current meta, you'll be looking at heroes like Lu Bu, who doesn't take any sort of damage, okay, as long as he has team members around. And then you look at Colt, Battery, and Teo. They only take certain percentage amount of their HP. Okay, so no matter how much damage you're gonna throw onto them, they are just gonna only take 20% of their HP. So there's no point in giving any traits that increase damage against offensive heroes, increase damage against magic heroes. Okay, so there's no point for this at the moment of this meta. Maybe in future, when heroes become less tanky and more vulnerable, maybe this can be considered. Okay. So next I'm going to talk about PvE. So for PvE it's quite straightforward. I think both your DPS would have this Snipper and Spinner. They would both have increased crit damage, increased lethal damage, and then also increased damage dealt onto certain types. So this is where this one comes in handy, because you're gonna face world bosses. You're gonna face certain heroes in guild dungeon, and these heroes have a very specific typing, and of course these are competitive mode, so you want to do more damage onto them to get a higher score. So hence your DPS should have these traits to allow them to actually dish out more damage for you in that fixed period of time. Okay. So then we look at the support heroes, which are like Ares. Ares you just saw just now. Basically also debuff resistances, and you can give them certain stats, okay, to boost their capabilities. So for Ares, you do want her to counter in some cases. Okay, you do want her to counter, so that your team's cooldown can be reduced. And then I also gave my Rachel. So I gave Rachel increased lethal rate, and this was because of Iron Devourer, which I required her to hit the middle head. Okay, so actually some of these stat boosts will benefit your hero's performance in PvE. So don't feel that stat boosts are so lame. You should just give like other stuff. Of course the resistances are useful, but stat boosts should not be overlooked as well, especially for PvE support heroes. Yeah, so I think that is all that I have. I mean, let's just take a look at Lina. Okay, she's totally bad. Would you give her increased block rate? Probably, because she is a healer and you want her to live as long as possible. She's not gonna... Okay, you can also give her decreased damage received, so that she lives a lot longer. Giving her resistances is also fine, but she herself has quite high debuff resist rate, and if you couple that with certain resistance ring, then she has almost 100% resistance towards that specific status. Or since if you don't have the ring, then of course you can give her that trait. So all these things you have to take into consideration where your support is used and how you can actually craft the trait, or the 3 traits to make your hero super awesome in that particular mode. So once again, it does not mean that I can't use Lina if she doesn't have the trait. Okay, I can use her, and she will only be better if I give her the right trait. So yes, that is actually all I have for this video. I hope you guys have a much clearer idea, and it helps you to process or clear up some of your thoughts about these special traits. And yeah, I hope it just helped you. I will come up with more of such videos definitely, so do subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for them, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.